Hello everybody, John from Gaming in the Wild here, and I've got a game review for you today. It's about the game Romeo is a Dead Man from Grasshopper Manufacture. It's a game that has been very critically divisive and had a very interesting conversation around it since it came out last month. I think that the conversation around this game has been very interesting, and it has helped to reveal what people value in video games and become a lightning rod for the conversation between art and gameplay and perfection and rough edges. So as well as being a space hack and slash time traveling adventure with a lot of surrealism and comedy thrown in there, it's also become a really interesting case study in what happens when a high-budget AA game gives complete creative license to auteur directors. So in this review, I'm going to talk about the combat, I'm going to talk about the story, and I'm going to talk about all of the insane, surreal flourishes that really bring Romeo is a Dead Man to life. And then I will round things out by looking at the critical response and talking about what Romeo is a Dead Man has to say about creativity in AA and AAA game development. As always, your likes are very much appreciated to help other people find the videos. You can sub to the channel for more videos from me in your feed. And if you like what I do and you'd like to support this channel, there is a Patreon. If you join at the $3 tier or above, I will personally send you a thank you message and a free code for an indie game that I've handpicked that I think more people should know about. And with that said, let's get into the review of Romeo is a Dead Man. So Romeo is a Dead Man is a very strange, high-tempo, hack-and-slash action game with a lot more going on, actually. It was co-directed by the legendary auteur game developer Suda51 and Ren Yamazaki, and it was released by Grasshopper Manufacture for PC, PS5, and Xbox. It was initially presented as a high-tempo, colourful action hack-and-slash game with lots of splatter, lots of weapons, lots of breakcore music, but there's lots more going on here as well. We get looping, repeated cutscenes with different elements changed in a David Lynch style. You get pockets of surreal storytelling. For example, a member of the Space FBI who only wants to talk about which striker was the best in the British Premier League in the 1990s. We get weird little sections of game like flying through space and collecting carrots and onions and katsu curry ingredients as we fly. There is a very weird text adventure in the game where you basically have to get 100 multiple choice questions right in a row to unlock a secret trophy. There is a zombie growing minigame where you can breed zombies and crossbreed them so that they have special abilities and then deploy them in battle. Whenever you fast travel, there is a TV with a headless man on it who talks to you in terms of life advice, strange philosophy, and Japanese mythology. So this is nothing like a straight-up hack-and-slash game. There is just a whole lot of stuff going on. There is a huge amount of story. There is a hub that you will return to between missions and do a lot of talking. There is a strange, spiraling story that veers between Back to the Future and Bill and Ted, 80s humor, and melancholy reflections on what life, love, and happiness mean. And I have to say, I found all of this to be a really pleasant surprise, actually. The game had so much more character than I was expecting. I thought I was just getting into a cool action game, and I was actually getting into a really genuinely interesting game that is full of heart, personality, and creativity. So at the start of the game, we meet Romeo. He is a cop in a small town. His sister works in the local diner. His uncle is a Doc Brown-style inventor, and he's infatuated with a mysterious girl called Juliet. But one night, the town suffers a demonic invasion, and Romeo gets disemboweled and disfigured. His uncle appears out of a time warp and plugs a big machine into him that turns him into a kind of robotic super cop who is back from the dead. He is no longer Romeo. He is now Dead Man. He is immediately swept up into the Space FBI to travel through time, figure out what happened, figure out what caused this tear in time, and arrest some time-traveling villains along the way. The story is kind of crazy. There are permeable multiverses in this game, so we'll meet different versions of characters, different versions of events that have been juggled and reordered in a really confusing way. Then there's the question of Juliet, who might be an entity more than she seems. And the tone of the storytelling in this game is all over the road, which I found to be really fun and interesting. It seems to pull equally from Bill and Ted, David Lynch, Back to the Future, Rick and Morty, Yoko Taro, Hideo Kojima, Japanese pop culture. But then that is counterbalanced by quotes from Japanese mythology, from ancient history and philosophy. There are parables, there are existential musings, so it's really tonally inconsistent and seems to be a patchwork of different ideas that have been sort of flung together untidily in a way that I really liked, actually. But you do spend a lot of time in the game doing combat, and it's really fun, actually. You get light and strong sword attacks with 4 different swords to choose from. You get ranged attacks with 4 different guns to choose from. All of the weapons are upgradable. When you kill enemies, they explode into blood that Romeo collects. When you have enough blood, you can deploy the limit break, which is called Bloody Sunday. There are different Bloody Sunday limit breaks to collect as well. There are also deployable zombie helpers that you have to grow in a garden. There's even a minigame where Romeo literally grabs them by the wrist and plucks them out of the earth. Some of them are kamikazes that will just charge into a mob of enemies and explode. Some of them will create a healing area. Some of them will set up a turret and pepper enemies to aggro them away from you. And there is a katsu curry minigame that you do in the hub. You can then eat those curries in combat to help you out with increased attack, with going invisible for a second, that kind of thing. So I think this combat system is really fully fledged, really thought out, with lots of diverse strategies that you can employ, and as the difficulty ramps up throughout the game, you will have to learn how to use these things to get through it. The gameplay environments are really cool. You'll be exploring a mall in the 80s, which has been lovingly recreated. You'll be exploring a town hall in different eras of time, and a cult camp out in the woods. There are some easygoing puzzles between all of the combat gauntlets, and I found that the levels were interesting enough to keep me engaged. I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed exploring them, looking at them, and learning their ins and outs. And the combat itself is just really satisfying, and it kicks a lot of ass, to be honest. So with everything that I've said, why does the game have a Metacritic 72? I think this is actually a really interesting conversation that cuts to the heart of what Romeo's Dead Man is. Because when we see a 72, we usually think it's an average game. That means it's gotten a lot of 6.5s, 7.5s, and it's kind of mediocre. That is not the case here. The game has enough 9 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s to fill an accolades sheet, and it has enough 4 out of 10s to fill one too. I thought it was really funny that Grasshopper Manufacture pulled together all of the lowest reviews and said, sorry guys, we'll try harder. And I've actually pulled out a few of the highest and lowest reviews to give you a picture of what people have been saying about this game and how it seems to resist a critical consensus. Some of the highs came from Console Creatures and Digitally Downloaded. Console Creatures said that it's a game that is sure to be divisive and may not be the best game of the year when all is said and done, but it's hard to imagine anything else feeling quite as unique. Digitally Downloaded acknowledged that they'd be lying if they said it was a game for everyone, but they said that given video games around us are becoming more and more generic, best practice driven, and in general everything that Romeo's a Dead Man pokes fun at, that it's nice to have the occasional game that's willing to put some people off in pursuit of its creative vision. The lows came from Game Cult, who said that Suda51's latest adventure is a hodgepodge fusion of visual styles and ideas that never quite coalesces into a coherent experience. And The Guardian had to say that instead of coming together as a kitschy, universe-spanning epic, the story is sadly told with all the mastery of a rambling drunk in a Wetherspoons. So those are some really divided opinions, but I think that what those critics said is very revealing. I think that critics who value creativity and are willing to embrace a little bit of chaos and some rough edges in service of creativity just really enjoyed what this game was serving to them, because it is so colourful, it is so experimental, it is quite wild. They really jammed every idea they had in here. Some of it doesn't make sense, but all of it is cool. There are those really strange menu screens, there are comic panels that tell you stories that don't really make sense but are just mind-bending and cool. There is the looping story that is intentionally obstructing itself by giving you different versions of events and muddying the water of what's actually happening. And if you don't have confidence in the creator that is giving you this stuff, if you're looking for something a bit more neat and tidy and coherent, if you're not impressed by the creativity and you'd prefer something that colors within the lines a little bit more, then those critics just could not get their heads around the game. They did not enjoy what it was doing. And that explains why for some people it was a 10 out of 10, for some people it was a 4 out of 10. It just matters what you value in video games. I am someone who obviously loves artistic, creative video games, and so this was a big hit for me. I will freely acknowledge that not everything that Romeo's a Dead Man does is perfect. In fact, nothing is. None of it is perfect, but all of it is interesting, and that for me goes a long way. And that is my take on Romeo is a Dead Man. I have actually also been playing a game that is kind of comparable to Romeo's a Dead Man and makes an interesting counterpoint to it. That is Homura Hime. It is a stylish action game with an anime style, and it is a much more focused gameplay experience. It has like Souls-like bosses with different phases and movesets that you have to learn. It has parry sequences, blocking, dodging, and a bit of platforming too. I've been playing it, I got a code for it, and so I wanted to mention it here at the end of the video. I don't think I'm going to be doing a full review, but if you're someone who likes the Romeo's a Dead Man kind of stylish action game, I think that Homura Hime could be good for you to look at as well. And I also wanted to mention that this review was a compressed, cut down, shorter version of a longer review that I did on the Gaming in the Wild podcast. So if you are someone who likes video game podcasts and likes more conversational, long form types of reviews, then do look up the Gaming in the Wild podcast. You can find it on any podcast platform except for Spotify, because boycott Spotify. And you can also find a podcast tab on my profile. There is a new episode every week or two, so check it out. I think I should also mention that I'm on Blue Sky pretty much every day talking about games, sharing things. So if you'd like to follow me that way, I will leave a Blue Sky link in the description on this video. And I'm on TikTok as well. I actually post daily videos there about video games, so that exists. And then there is, of course, the Steam Curator page where you can find links to all of the reviews that I do as you are browsing Steam, so you can see if the game that you're looking at is Gaming in the Wild recommended. I always forget to mention these things, so I'm mentioning them here. Finally, of course, if you really do love the channel and you're still listening right here at the end, then join the Patreon. There is a link on the screen now. It's only $1 to get into the Discord, $3 to to get a free game as well. And there is a $10 boss tier patron where you can get a shout out on every single video and podcast I make. So special thanks to my boss tier patrons: Shy Guy, King Champ, Susanna Maria, Nate, Drellesh, Realistic Studies, and Noah. These are the people that really do help me to make these videos for you. So please do join that Patreon. And until the next one, take care of yourselves and each other, and bye-bye for now.